Hey, hey, hey. Hello. Good afternoon. Well, good evening. 7 p.m. here. Welcome in the Future of Culture events. I'm beyond exciting for what's to come. So we're going to wait for a few people to join us. In the meantime, I will tell you what you can expect if you're joining us live or if you're going to watch this as a replay. So the Future of Culture, I'm going to show you what the future of culture look like, and especially when brands and artists work together, and what amazing thing we could do. I just believe in the power of creativity in the Caribbean in particular. I think there are so many great and amazing Caribbean artists. But I believe that they deserve to be seen. They deserve to have a greater impact, and I think brands and can play a great role into that. So as we're starting, hello. Hey Laurence, what's up? So as we're starting, so basically you can tell me. So it's gonna be like slightly interactive. I'm going to share a couple of case studies. I'm going to share what the Collab Studio is and how to work with artists and with brands. And we'll be open for Q&A, we'll be open for questions. Really the goal is to get conversation starting. Hopefully this inspire you and we can start, doing this together. I mean, I'm happy to do the event, but clearly I don't want this to be my own project. I believe in that if we have the same vision, if we want the same thing together as a Caribbean community, we can make things happen. So I don't want to do this on my own, and I'm glad that a couple of early adopters that believe in the vision are here tonight. So yeah, I believe that we can start and build something together. Great, awesome. So yeah, so I'm going to, as we wait a couple of minutes, I've done this, so there will be a replay available for anyone joining later, so that's fine. But yeah, as we enter like a new economy, like after the pandemic and so on, we see that things are shifting, things are moving, so it's time to take a seat on the wagon, on the train as it's going. So that's what I want to inspire, is really inspire conversation, inspire collaboration. Is create the Collab Studio because it's really to create further collaboration between brands, between artists, between cultural leaders, between brand managers, and within the Caribbean community. So I presented already this to a small group of people. We were all like super excited about this. So I really trust that there's a lot of opportunity for us. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna start, and I'm gonna say like whatever. Let me just check if there's a link is updated over there. Let's go on just that. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now and share a couple of things that I have for you. So how do we do that? All right. So the Future of Culture, boom, boom, boom. Welcome. So I would like to start by asking a question. Are you paying the tax of being unremarkable? The tax of being unremarkable, when you put a lot of effort, you put a lot of time into creating some content, into creating a campaign, and it just doesn't have the impact that you expect. It's just like 1 in a million visual in the sea of visual that varies everywhere, and there is a tax that you pay for that. And when I mean there's a tax, it means all the time and effort that someone, like either a creative or a brand, is putting into creating something. If it doesn't resonate with the people that you're creating for, then it doesn't have any impact, and then basically you wasted your time, your effort, and your money into creating that unremarkable creative. So there's a tax for being unremarkable. So just a quick intro on who I am for the few that don't know me, but I think I know most of you, or somehow. So this is me. So if I were to describe myself, this is how I would, these are the brands that I would use to describe myself, right? So Apple, because I like technology, Adidas, and especially the Stan Smith, which is my go-to. I had exactly the same trainers. Tongoro Studio was an independent trade designer brand that I absolutely love, based in Senegal. Stella Jean and Desigual, because I like the colors. Stella Jean, Stella Jean is a designer and creative from Haiti, so Caribbean. And, you know, I like tech. So this is the brands that I consume, the brand that I wear, the brand that I follow, the brand that I support, and they define me. Right. So when I wear those brands, I'm hoping that when people see me, they will understand that I'm obsessed with tech. I'm obsessed with future and the possibilities. And that started when I went to Futuroscope back in 1994. And everything actually blew my mind when I discovered all the possibility that technology could create, that I became obsessed with tech in general. And there's a second thing that I would like all these brands that I'm wearing and supporting and following to say about me is that I'm also passionate about art and about the Caribbean region as a whole. In 2018, I launched a brand consultancy for artists where I worked with over 100 artists, designers, and creators. And I realized how many talents there were in the Caribbean. And they're just hidden. They are not online. They are not being seen enough. And then that just became my mission to literally do something for those creators, to literally give them more visibility. So when I wear those brands, I want people that sees me or come across me to understand those things about me. Because consumption is a cultural act, right? Whatever you buy says something about your identity, say something about who you are, say something about what you like and what you dislike and what group and what community you want to be part of. And we use brand to communicate what group we are part of, right? So it could be religious artifacts to say, okay, I'm part of this community, I'm part of that tribe, but it could also be brands that we are wearing, right? So when people wear Adidas brand, they want people to see them as they are part of, the cool, the street, the hip hop, maybe a certain era. So we usually use brand to express our identity, to express our culture. And you will see why I'm making that statement and why it's important. So if, let's say, you go to a shop and you want to buy a trainer, so you probably have just choice of a massive range of trainers. They're going to be a lot of different brands, a lot of different models, and you're likely to choose really different brand depending on maybe your age, maybe depending on your social influence, depending on how do you want to be seen, what group do you want to be part of, right? So you come to a bunch of sneakers and trainers, so you would choose something that reflects your personality or that can express who you are and your personality. So let's take as an example, let's say that you are you choosing this trainer, which is the Yeezy and Adidas collaboration. So it doesn't really matter if you so we can debate if this is a good looking trainer or if this is just an ugly trainer. Actually, it doesn't really matter, right? But you would likely, if let's say someone is speaking that brand and they did a massive collaboration campaign, is because Adidas and Yeezy is seen as cool, right? They're being seen as cool by a group of people. So it doesn't matter if the shoes make you run faster or the shoe is comfortable or is nice or not nice. It doesn't actually matter. It's because Adidas is cool. Adidas is part of culture. and people are influenced by culture. So when Adidas decided to do a shoe like a trainer designed by Kanye West, what does he say? He said that anyone choosing that trainer in particular is saying, okay, I'm like Kanye West. I can have like a bit of Kanye West. I can have a bit of Kanye West culture with me. So because Adidas is cool, because Adidas is part of culture, because Adidas did that association, that brand association with this artist, which representing his own culture, his own world, his own influence, suddenly Adidas looked a lot more cooler, right? But just like a random pair of shoes. And Adidas is plenty of his collaboration. We've seen with Pharrell, we've seen with I cannot even remember Pharrell now. But Adidas is really specialist of doing this kind of collaboration. And why do they do that? Because they want to be seen as cool. They want to be part of culture. They want to touch those communities, those niches, those niche of people in those specific group, right? So our culture really defines our identity. So it's defined how we see ourselves, and it also defines the group we identify with, right? So when I buy this Yeezy trainer, it's defined that I like this type of people, I like this type of music, I watch this kind of movie, I dress that type, and I'm part of a group of people, okay? So how to be remarkable? It's like the secret for a brand, for a business, or an artist to be remarkable is actually being as an intersection of culture, creativity, and also being effective, right? It is about reaching audiences, it's about selling products. So it's about really finding this combination of being relevant in culture, being extremely creative to stand out, and still remain really effective to sell more and to gain market share and to, raise brand awareness and add recall and so on. So all of these things is a key formula to be remarkable. And brands are trying really hard to get your attention, right? To get your attention to their product. They are trying extremely hard. They're putting billboard, they're putting their logo bigger, always bigger on the creative. They will put like flashing line. They will put like all sort of things to say, watch me, I'm here, buy my product, right? They're trying very hard. But what does it's end up, so what we end up having is an extremely cluttered visual environment where there's so much. We are bombarded. Like this is an example of a really busy city, but if you also look like from a digital perspective, we are bombarded non-stop with messages that say buy me, buy me, buy me. So how can a brand stand out when they're all trying to shout louder than the other? And it's not easy to get our attention. We are scrolling. We're trying to see what is the next reel, what is the next trending audio that we can jump on, so we are busy. So for brands to actually get our attention, to actually stand out and say, okay, I want these customers, I want them to buy my product, is getting really difficult for them because there's so much information out there, but our level of attention is below the level of information, right? So there's an amount of attention that is really low at the moment, and it's been like this since the beginning of digital marketing communication. Our attention level is very low, so a brand has to be extremely relevant, extremely pertinent to get our attention. Okay, and especially in the Caribbean, where there are so many different subcultures, right? We are the same, but also we are very different. We have different interests. It's different in the whole of the Caribbean. There is a lot of different subcultures that are similar, but are not the same. For any regional brands trying to reach the whole of the Caribbean, I mean, they're likely to do a really blend approach and just do like the same for everyone. But really and truly, if they really want to reach each and every one of those people, they really need to go nimble. They need to go more personalized. They need to touch people based on their culture, right? So how do they do that? So that's one of the challenges that brands are facing at the moment, is they cannot keep pace with culture, because we are facing like a lot of micro and subcultures that are moving at an incredible pace, especially with the new trends going on back and forth and in and out at an incredible speed, especially when it comes to digital. So how can they possibly keep up with culture, personalize the content for every different consumers who are engaging with that content? It's a race. It's impossible. It's a race between, okay, contents. How can I create content as fast as possible? How am I going to keep up with all the tech, all the change of algorithm that we have every single week from Mr. Adam Mosseri? And how do I keep up with culture? So it's a constant race and the constant battles of any marketer trying to create content that is going to be relevant for every single audience. And I'm going to say in that race, culture is always going to be the winner, right? Because you might create the most creative looking content, the most tech-enabled, tech-friendly, Web3, NFT, metaverse, or whatever, if it is not relevant in culture, if people cannot identify or cannot relate to whatever you're creating, your message is just going to go above their heads, right? It's just going to be like, whatever, is another brand shouting at me, trying to get my attention. So culture is really the one that we need to keep up with, first and foremost. And who are the culture creator today? Well, they are the DJs, the artists, the TikTokers, the designers, the dancers, the YouTubers, the photographers, the bloggers, the podcasters. So nowadays, they are the one leading the culture. They are the one saying what is cool, what is not cool. They are the one saying, what will be the next trend. They're actually creating the trend, like the DJs creating the 15 seconds of fame and of trending audio on TikTok. They are the ones saying, all right, okay, now this trend, this kind of music is cool, and I want everybody to do a trend or to do a dance on it. The designers and the developers creating like a new experience in real life or in the metaverse. They are the ones saying what is cool. So we really need to keep up with culture creator. And that really explains the rise of the creator economy, which is really an economy built around creators who are creating businesses and products around their talents. So if you follow me for a while, you would have heard me talking about the creator economy a lot. And it's because this is the era that we are in, and is a natural evolution, is where we should be. This is where we're going. This is where we are at the moment. And it's because we started in 2000 where, with the rise of social media, everybody could be a content creator, right? So everybody would post a content, would post a content of their cat, of their grandma, of their drawing, of their children, or whatever. So everybody became a creator in the internet space. And in 2010, those creators became the better ones, sort of, who have the greatest community. They started to build larger audiences. So they went from creator, from user to influencers, because they have a community that they can speak to, that they could communicate to, and that they could sell to, right? So they started to say, I can monetize my content by doing brand partnership, by doing ads, etc. So they will associate themselves with brand to do brand deals to kind of sell to their community. And then in late 2010, we've seen like the rise of creators. So the creators that seek independence from social media by being independent businesses. So many people were like, okay, hold on, I can create, I have my community, so I don't need your social media platform. I'm going to use my community to actually pay for what I'm creating. And we have the Patreon and the YouTube subscription, etc. So we have all these creators that started to create products that they can sell to their community. And now what we're observing in the creator economy is that actually the line between fan and creator are really blurred into community ownership. So it's all about who is owning that community. And then the community owner is then having like different content, different role across different platforms, from TikTok to Instagram to Discord. And, you know, they could then own things, they could create things that they could sell to the community and they still own it. So it's a whole new ecosystem where really the creators are even dictating what the platform should do. We're seeing at the moment a lot of platforms adjusting the offering, adjusting what they do to allow creator to be more profitable, because without creator, there's no platform. So now we are in a space where the creator actually gaining control. So we are in a space where brands cannot buy coolness, right? So any brands cannot wake up one day and say, hey, I'm cool now, I'm cooler than you. But what they can earn is cultural currency, right? And they want this currency because it elevates them, it makes them cooler, it makes them more attractive to their audiences. They want to be seen as being cool, as being trendy, as being, you know, in the known, and being like at the front line of culture. Like you've been, if you're a marketer, if you work around any marketer, being at the front line of culture is something that every brand wants to do. And to do that, they can earn cultural currency. And how do they do that? They collaborate with creator, right? So they can borrow the fame and the community of these creators, and suddenly they look cooler, they look nicer, they look more attractive. So we are start with an example from Carib and Shenseea, where Carib did a whole collaboration with Shenseea and Karine Dubois, where they created a music video. They created a lot of music videos, some events. Shenseea is also sometimes promoting their Carib to her own community of followers. So suddenly Carib looks cooler than another random beer, right? Because Carib is friends with Shenseea. So that's cool. So anyone like in Shenseea or Karine Dubois, like, all right, okay, I'm going to drink Carib. So I'm going to be seen like I'm like the cool people. Okay. And then we've seen Desperados having like a partnership with a collective of artists, right? So Desperados actually work with a whole group of artists across the world because it's a global brand. So they selected a couple of creators from South Africa to Germany to the US, and said, hold on, okay, you are our collective of artists and we want you to create whatever you want. Create whatever Desperados inspire you. So they created some design, they created some social content. So they created a bunch of things and posted on their social net on their social network. So it's a way for Desperados to say, hey, we want all this group of creators to talk about our brands. So when brands are, when they're talking to their community, they're getting more reach, they're getting more engagement, but if Desperados were just posting content themselves. Okay. And I've been doing that for a while. I think that's the second year now, but they have their collective of creative, and they just like evolving that every year into being bigger year after year. We have another example where Louise Guzman, which is an amazing illustrator, did this collaboration with New Balance. Right, I'm going to show that. So he's an illustrator and he has an amazing story that has really been inspired by his mom flowers. So his mom always, her on the picture there. So his mom always used to bring some flowers to the house, and then he really likes the colors. So the colors kind of inspire the design that he created with New Balance. And so they didn't only create a new trainers, they also created an event, right, to launch the product. So it was a whole event with a DJ, with cocktail, with a whole scene highlighting the product in a very amazing way, whilst also celebrating the creation of the artist with behind the scene video and so on. So that's like an amazing way to collaborate with artists and not just do one post or one piece of content or one product, but creating like a whole creative concept around the value of the artist. Another example is Bradley Theodore from Saint Kitts and Nevis, I believe. So he's a painter. So he painted this kind of really colorful painting, and he did this collaboration with Puma South Africa. So Puma South Africa uses his colorful and palette and style to then create a unique collection of trainers, but also jumpers, like a whole new collection of outfits, basically. So that's a way for Puma to say, hey, we have some limited edition outfits that we are creating. So therefore, they can create urgency. They can tell people, quick, you need to go and buy now because it's a limited edition. But also by them associating themselves with the amazing artist, which is Bradley Theodore, has a really big community. Then they can also touch the community of Bradley Theodore and say, hey, you like your artist, you want to support him. Maybe you cannot buy his artwork because, you know, it's above your means, but come on, you can buy a piece of his artwork through those clothing that we did together. So it's really like a win-win for the artist and for the brand. It's a way to have his artwork beyond the Canva. It's a way for Puma to create urgency with a limited collection, and also to, you know, be part of this street art culture. And this is an example from Drink in Moderation. Is an amazing photograph, and he does photography, art photography, and he specialized in wine photography. And what I love about it is, you know, instead of seeing those really traditional picture of, you know, a wine and a glass and so on, we have something extremely creative. It's still promoting the wine, and it stands out in the feed. That's not something that you would expect from a wine brand or any alcohol brand. I think it was a branch of alcohol. So it's not something, but it's not a type of content that would be expected. So it definitely stands out. So artists can express his own creativity. It goes above and beyond because this is art, this is craft. So the type of content is absolutely stunning. So that's again about the way to do collaboration with photograph. Let them express themselves. Just say, do whatever, express yourself, do something amazing with my brands, and this is the type of result that we can expect. Another way, excuse me, another way for brands to collaborate with artists is we've seen artist residents. So here at Meta, there are like a bunch of artists who live sort of, or who works and stayed in their offices. Actually, I had the opportunity to go into Facebook offices, and there is like a special, I think they are everywhere. You can see artwork everywhere, and there's like a massive place where they can just create and test things. So they're testing different colors, they're testing impression, they're testing, you know, different graphic styles. So it's just a way for them to have like a playground where they can just experiment, create a new mural and so on. But what is really, really interesting is that the artists are really part of their business. You understand that if Facebook is creating a new, I don't know, a new product, they will be part of the brainstorming. They will join the brainstorming, they will give a point of view. They are likely to also create, be part of the user experience of create, I don't know, this icon, and whatever visual, digital, or above the line that Facebook might need. So I think it's a really interesting way to really bring business and artists together by having artists there in the room with people working in the environment, and also let them be part of a business decision and brainstorm with them. So you can always ensure that, you know, there's always be out of the box creative ideas that are going to come out of these meetings. So now that I showed you a couple of example of what brand and artists can do together, I hope this is empowering. I have 4 minutes and a few more things to show you, and then we can get into like any question, comment, or feedback that you might have. But I want to touch on really the creativity and tech meets. So when we have brand, creativity, and tech meeting together, when I mean tech, is everything related to future tech. So we're talking Web3, NFT, and Metaverse in particular. But I want to really open your horizon and open your mind onto what could happen when all of this meets. And I believe that's the best way to be relevant in the future in Web3 is really to start with the community. Like all these new technologies, the blockchain, the metaverse, and all of these are built on community. Blockchain is built on the principle that there is a community of people that are taking decisions together and that are building something together. So really the best way to be relevant is not to start with the tech, but is to start by having a community that will support your brands from Web 2 to Web 3. So as an example, so the Meta Fashion Week, so it was the first time that the Fashion Week happened in the metaverse, meaning that we have a bunch of small and big brands and designers that were represented at the Meta Fashion Week. So it was a whole immersive experience where some brands were there to advertise. So we have exactly that, some billboards that were there, but we also have some designer that presented a 3D version of their collection for people to try, for people to see. So for me, that was really just a taste of what it could be to really bring artists, designers, and creators in a Web3 environment. So the great, I think one of the greatest advantage of this Meta Fashion Week is that it was open to everybody, very literally open. It's to me, so Fashion Week that tend to be a bit selective, a bit like, you know, exclusive and a private sort of event. They literally say, okay, this is open to everybody. So everyone, doesn't matter what you look like, you can dress as an avatar however you want. If you wanted to have green hair, if you wanted to look like a robot, you could look like however you want, but everyone have access to the same experience. And I think that was amazing because it's a proof that through technology, we can create inclusive experience that are open for everyone. So for the Caribbean, that's amazing. I can wait to see when we're gonna have like, not a carnival, but it'll be weird. But when we can have like a true, real Caribbean event open to everyone where Caribbean people can come and network and talk and have like the same experience. Because really we have a technology that allows to create those sort of big inclusive events through digital and tech. The other example is NFT art. So NFT stands for non-fungible token, and it's basically a way for artists to have ownership and a proof of ownership of any creation, any artwork that they might have in the digital space. So an artist creating something in the past, they could create a meme that will go viral, they won't get anything from it, right? They will just get likes and they will get likes and shares and maybe a bit of fame. But nowadays, an artist creating something is digital that is going viral can get compensated for that. So that's really because they would associate their creation with a value, and then anyone wanted to share it, wanted to suppose a project will win. So we help the artist by paying the artist, but also anyone that is buying the NFT is actually also gaining some money. So what Givenchy did is they did a collaboration with the artist Chito, right? So they did a collaborated collection, was a limited edition, and they also created an NFT digital version of this collection. So you can have the collection, like the real clothes that you put on you, but you could also buy the digital version of this limited edition collaboration. And whenever someone would buy the NFT art, they will then get access to special events, to the next drop, to special discounts. So they will then get access to a bunch of things. And I think a couple of the proceed from the NFT sale was also donated to a charity. So what is important with any brand and artist collaboration where they do NFT art is to ensure that there is a link in real life. If it's only something digital and there's no real life tangible benefit for the brand or for the audience, is unlikely to fly. So it's important to bear in mind that whatever collaboration needs to be digital, physical. Another example is a beauty brand, NARS, who collaborated with 3 female artists to create its first NFT collection. So they launched these new products, so the new shades, of a lipstick, and they commissioned 3 artists to say, and it was for National Orgasm Day. So they commissioned 3 artists to say, ask them to create something, but this new shade can inspire them. So they created a bunch of animated GIF like that, that was the first NFT collection of NARS, right? So again, that's a collaboration between a brand and an artist to create something, an NFT collection. So before I move on, so in a nutshell, so this is, I hope that this has inspired you a little bit, and gives you perspective on what could be done, what amazing opportunity could be done with artists and brands. And that led me to introduce you to the Collab Studio, which is a creative consultancy that I recently launched, where I really want to bring artists and brands together to create collaborative concepts. Based on the experience that I have, is that artists and brands often don't speak the same language. Artists don't understand always the business objective. They don't really understand the brand objective, what the brand is trying to achieve. And from the other side, the brand doesn't always know how to sometimes pick the right artist that will fit with your value, that will fit with what they're standing for. So there's this lack of communication, and I spoke to enough artists to know that there's a lot of missed opportunity because there isn't that communication, that collaboration between artists and brands. So the Collab Studio is really is bringing those two, doing the translation between those two, and really collaborate, like help brand and artists collaborate in a better way. So for artists, the advantage that when an artist is part of the Collab Studio is that they can be discovered and create with brands, entrepreneur or creative director in various industries. So it's a way for them to create at a bigger scale, to challenge themselves as well, to have a different type of brief, a brief that is related to a brand, but also make sure that they are creating with brands that align with your value. That's something that I'm really precious about. I want brand and artists who have similar value, who care about the same thing, who have the same mission, that could create together to really emphasize the efforts. So I'm not going to ask an artist that wants to protect the planet to work with a brand that doesn't care about that. Right? And for brands, it's an opportunity. I mean, how many brand manager I heard saying, okay, we want out of the box concept. We want disruptive creative communication. We want to be at the front line of culture. This is what it is. So we are going to connect you with the best artists in the Caribbean and the diaspora, the best for you to create meaningful collaboration for artistic, innovative solutions. So we're basically bringing the artists in your boardroom to collaborate and co-create on your next campaign. So you know about your brands, the artists will bring like this out-of-the-box disruptive thinking, and I will be there to ensure that it's aligned with the strategy, that it's aligned with what is feasible, and that we are also maximizing the delivery through various technologies. So be it Web3, be it virtual reality, be it an event, be it like whatever it might be. So our process is that we first start by getting a brief from a brand. So whatever is the brand. So when I say brand, this could be a brand, it could be a cultural organization, it could be anyone who wants to communicate about something. So be it an event, be it a new product, a new services. So we first get a brief. So in the brief, the brand will indicate what is the objective, what is the challenge that they're facing, who do they want to reach, what do they have in mind, etc. And then the Collab Studio will come back with an initial concept proposal, so some ideas of what could be done based on the objective, based on the audience, based on the business challenges. We come back with some initial concepts. Once we agreed on what concept we want to go for, then we go to find what artist will be the best suited for that concept, right? So it could be one artist, a group of artists, depending. And the way we create those artists, so it could be artists that are part of the Collab Studio portfolio. I'm also collaborating with curators and cultural leaders in the Caribbean that will be able to advise based on the concept, based on what we want to achieve, who will be the best artist suited for that particular brief, right? And then we're going to select the artists that we want, and then is a collaboration on the creative concept. So then there is we have like the initial concept, we have the artist, and then is a co-creation. So how do we take that a great concept to the next level? How do we bring technology? How do we expand this? So the artists will really bring their their own creative mind and their vision and so on to really add on to the creative strategy, so brand creative strategy. And then is the experience rollout. So the rollout could be some assets. So it could be something as simple and small as a social media campaign. It could be an event. It could be a virtual event. It could be a virtual gallery. It could be some behind the scene videos as well. So it really, really depends. Like the type of experience is, the brand experience is extensive. It really depends of the artist. It will depend on the initial concept as well. And what makes a collaboration successful is really, so I believe that a platform cannot do the job of bringing an artist and a brand together, but it really starts with a conversation. And it's important to have this conversation to ensure that all parties feel aligned, all parties are excited and motivated by the project, but most importantly, that there is authenticity of both the brands and the artists. It needs to be an authentic collaboration. And then what also is important is protecting creation time. So quite often, I mean, when we work in an agency, we are pressed for time. It's like producing at a high speed. It's like go, go, go. We are like batching content, batching creative, batching strategy. Is basically the job of an agency to create concepts. But when it comes to this type of collaboration, I think we need to make sure that there is enough time for the artist to find something, to create something. It's all about also making sure that we are protecting this creation time, so the artist doesn't feel pressured and doesn't do like a job that he doesn't feel comfortable with. And then it's all about excellent execution. So excellent execution is however we execute it, whether it's an event or digital campaign or whatever. We want to make sure that is aligned with the brand's values, colors, strategy, identity, and the artist's vision, which is not an easy job to do. So the Remarkable framework is, I believe it starts with a community of creators. So I think whatever brands come to submit a brief will need to know what community they're trying to impact. In a business term, what is their target audience? So who do they want to impact? And then based on that, we're going to find, okay, what is this community of creators? Which creators is actually having a leading role in that community, right? And we're going to find this or those creators that are aligned with where the brand wants to play a role. And the brand is here to support, right? So the brand is here to support the community of creators that we want to impact. And all of this is going to be powered by technology. So really technology come as the last bit. Technology is really just there to amplify the collaboration between brand and creator. So whether that being Google ads, social media ads, Web3 NFT campaign, metaverse virtual gallery. So whatever the tech is coming is really there to empower, to give greater visibility, to have a greater impact, to do whatever we create, make it better. So in a nutshell, what the Collab Studio is doing is consulting and artist creation. So consulting on brand strategy, curating the right artist for the right brief, come up with creative strategy and concepts aligned with business objective, and coming up with brand experience in digital or offline, depending on what the concept is. So this is the key services the key role of the Collab Studio. And I'm also collaborating with legal advisors to advise on like contracts, on image rights, and all of that, to ensure that we are protected and that everyone is that the art is protected, and also that the brand gets what they want to get. So in a nutshell, that is the Collab Studio. This is the team. So there's me as a founder and the strategist with the Collab Studio. Then I have various partners who are curators and storytellers within the Caribbean. And then we also have AR and VR consultants that can advise on anything tech related. So if, let's say, we need to create something that is really outside of the box and that we need technology to get involved, we have a consultant that can advise us in there. And then we obviously also have a network of professionals in the cultural space in the Caribbean that we can bring on board depending on the project. So this is it. This is the Collab Studio. I'm going to shut down now. Let me see. Up. All done. Let me just get my screen down. Can I do that? Yeah, so we are back. So I hope that, oh no. Hold on. So yeah, so let me know if you have any comments, any advice, feedback. I'm open to questions. So I've just seen that someone trying to get in and they couldn't, which is a shame. So let me just see if I can do that quickly. Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm open to like any question, any comments. So just comment in the chat. If you want to feedback, want to be part, want to do like whatever, I'm completely open. But basically, this is the first launch, the first time that I'm sharing this with so many people publicly anyway. So what it means is that now I'm officially open to get brief, and artists can join the Collab Studio as well, so they can be part of it. But most importantly is for brands to also join and start to have conversation to see how they could have a greater role in culture. So okay, so let me just see who is there, because I can see there's people join. I cannot see everyone. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Or did I miss something? I hope not. This live room sometimes is interesting. Okay, so I'm going to share with you the link to the website, where I'm going to show you actually now the website, so you would know. Okay, so that's the website, collabstudio.com. I'm going to share my screen right now so I can share with you how you can join. Okay, so the collabstudio.co. So it's really simple. So if you're interested to join as an artist, you will click here. If you're interested to join as a brand, you will click here. So what I mean by join is you want to find out more So what's going to happen? So when you click here as a brand, so when I say brand is a nutrition brand. When I say brand is a cultural, like if you're not an artist and you want to collaborate with artists. So you will click on that, and then you will basically access this very simple Google form, answer a couple of questions such as your name. So it's for me to know about your business. And then what's going to happen is you will tell me what you want to be advised on. If you're looking for an artist, so classic question. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to set up a call with you to be able to find out more about your project, and then we'll take it from there. The same way, if you are an artist, you're going to click here. So that's an artist and you're not represented by an agent or you're not represented by a creator. So you say, I'm an artist, I want to collaborate with a brand. And here, exactly. So you will put a couple of information of what you do, what's important for you, what type of art do you do. And then there will then be a call. So we're going to discuss, and then I'm going to better to understand your value, what you want to do, and then you'll be part of the portfolio. So something I should have mentioned before is that there won't be any competition. There won't be any competition within artists of the collab studio. So if let's say you're an artist and you do photography and you care about empowering women, there won't be two artists that does that. So it's about the type of the medium that you use, but also what you want to create about what values you're communicating in your art. So there won't be two of you, meaning that there won't be any competition in the collab studio. So this is the end. So unless I'm looking forward to hear more from you, I'm looking forward to have your brief on, and stay tuned for probably another event in the coming days. If you know of anyone that would be interested, share the word, spread the word. As I said, I don't want to do this on my own. I want it to be a community, collaborative effort. So I believe as a Caribbean community, we have greater ambition than the size of the island we're coming from. So let's go and let's take over the world, because that's the mission all along, right? All right. Thank you so much. And I will stay in touch. Ciao, ciao.